Hi, my name's Andrew Francis, and I'm going to do a series of talks based on my book, Mission on the Outside. The book is looking at the story of Jesus' interaction with a woman at a well in John's Gospel, chapter 4, and working out how it is that we can apply this to our lives and the way that we seek to do mission. The first chapter I'm going to read today is called The Introduction. I love stories. As someone brought up in a Christian family, I was quickly introduced to the stories of the Bible. And despite a lifetime of exposure to them, I still find myself being awakened to new truths and insights as I read and reflect on them. Like all of us, it seems that there are certain stories that speak to me more often and more deeply than others. For me, this story of Jesus' encounter with a lady of questionable morality continues to excite and provoke me. Of course, as a follower of Christ, one of the questions always in the back of my mind is, what does this story tell me about Jesus? And as one who accepts the words of Jesus, those who believe in me do not believe in me only, but in the one who sent me. When they look at me, they see the one who sent me. I also gain a better insight into the nature of the God and Father of Jesus. I am aware, of course, that many of my insights are simply that, my insights. Others who read this story may draw completely different interpretations than some that I have come to. Whilst I do try and read one or two sound New Testament commentaries to help ground some of my insights in the historical research of others, I myself am not a New Testament scholar. However, despite my own lack of study and knowledge in this area, one of the beauties of Bible stories is that all of us, whether New Testament scholars or children, can read them and gain an understanding that somehow speaks to us. God so often uses stories, particularly the stories of Scripture, to reveal more of himself to us in a way that somehow seems to bypass our more analytical ways of knowing, speaking directly to the deep places of our hearts. Personally, it has also been due to my study of the Gospels, particularly Mark's Gospel, that I found myself being challenged to take a journey out of ministry in a traditional church setting to spending time in a gay bar. I remember being grabbed by a sentence in Michael Frost and Alan Hirsch's profound book, The Shaping of Things to Come, in which they state, "Our Christology informs our missiology, which in turn determines our ecclesiology." In simpler terms, Frost and Hirsch are stating that our knowledge of Jesus should inform how we do mission. Out of the context of our mission, church will be formed. This simple statement put into words something of my own journey out of the institutional church, a journey which found new impetus after God asked me a simple question: is the church the same as the kingdom? Whilst theologically I knew it wasn't, as I began to truly consider the implications of this question, my understanding of church, Jesus, and mission were all turned upside down. I realized that for most of my Christian walk, I'd sought first a church rather than the kingdom, and I hadn't really trusted Jesus to build his church, as he promises he will. As I interacted with Mark's Gospel, I began to slowly get my Christology sorted out. In discovering more of who Jesus was, how he ministered, the values he held, and the congruency between his words and his actions, I was challenged on so many fronts concerning my own life and ministry. My renewed Christology indeed led me into mission in a way that I could never have conceived of myself. How church will develop from such mission is yet to be seen. No doubt such a church will express something of the unique interaction between Jesus and the culture in which it emerges, revealing itself in a way that calls forth and blesses the best within the culture, whilst redeeming and transforming the worst. It would therefore also seem apparent to me that if we start with Jesus as our foundation, rather than some present understanding we might have of church, no two emerging Christians and no two emerging churches can and will ever be the same. I have the sense that Jesus' interaction with the adulteress in John chapter 4 provides us with a model for mission. As we seek to understand something of God's heart expressed through Jesus in his relating and witness to this woman, it must surely inform us in the way we understand both God's heart for us and also Christ-like relating and witness to those he brings across our paths. I hope that your interaction with Jesus in this book will open you further to his heart for you and his deep and compassionate love for a hurting and lost world all around us. It is my simple desire and prayer that you might indeed have your eyes open anew to the glory of Jesus the Christ. In rediscovering him, your life can't help but be transformed.